Hello sir, let me introduce myself. My name is Francis Nathanael Tampu Bolon with NIM 44123010064. I am from ship construction class C4 morning. Text 1. The bar chart illustrates the percentage of males and families in the UK who consumed 5 or more portions of fruit and vegetables per day in 2006, categorized by age group. Overall, it is clear the families consistently consume more fruit and vegetables than male across all age groups, except for the oldest group, 75% plus, where consumption levels were equal. Additionally, consumption tends to increase with age, peaking in the 55 to 64 age group and declines slightly in older age groups. In the youngest group, 19 to 24, around 50% of males and 17% for families met the recommended intake. This figure is gradually in the 25 to 34 and 35 to 44 age group, raising approximately 22% for males and 25% for families. A more significant jump is seen in the 45 to 54 and 55 to 64 age bracket, where family consumption rises nearly 35% compared to 32% for males. However, after the age of 64, the trend reverses slightly in the 65 to 74 group. Both genders saw a slightly decline, and by age 75 plus, the percentage dropped to about 25% for both men and women. In conclusion, middle-aged individuals, particularly families, were the most likely to follow the WHO dietary recommendation in 2006. Text 2. Some experts believe that when a country is already rich, any additionally increase in economic wealth does not make its citizens any more satisfied. To what extent do you agree or disagree? It is often argued that once a nation reaches a certain level of affluence, future economic growth does not significantly contributes to the happiness and satisfaction of its people. ILRG agree with this view, as there is compelling evidence that beyond a certain threshold, material wealth increases to improve overall well-being. To begin with, in wealthy countries where basic needs such as food, housing, education, and healthy care are already met, additionally income tends to be spent on luxury goods or services that provide on temporary pleasure. Rates in psychology suggest that humans quickly adapt to improved living standard, a phenomenon known as the hedonic treadmill, as the result in initial boost in happiness from acquiring more wealthy tends to fade over time, leaving individuals no more satisfied than before. Furthermore, increased economic wealth can sometimes lead to negative consequences that diminish overall life satisfaction. For instance, the pursuit of higher income often comes the cost of work-life balance, increased stress, and environmental degradation. In high-income societies, rising wealth is also frequently associated with greater inequality, which can further resent social tension and a decline in social trust factor known to reduce overall well-being. However, it is important to acknowledge that economic growth in rich countries can still be beneficial if managed wisely. For example, increased government revenue can be invested in public service, grant infrastructure, or support for vulnerable population, and of which can enhance quality of life. In conclusion, while economic growth is essential for developing nations in already wealthy countries, its impact on happiness is limited and depends heavily on how the additional wealth is used. Therefore, I agree that beyond a certain point, wealth alone does not guarantee greater satisfaction. Thank you, sir.